So for 8 years, Vice Admiral James Stockdale was a prisoner of war, and he endured torture that was specifically designed to break him. But here's the thing, he didn't break. In fact, he kind of turned his prison cell into a laboratory to test a 2,000-year-old philosophy, Stoicism. This is the incredible story of how those ancient ideas became his personal manual for survival.
I mean, just imagine the whiplash. One moment, Stockdale is this respected commander in charge of 100 pilots and 1,000 men. The very next, his plane is shot down. And as that parachute opens, his entire world is just stripped away. He lands on the ground, and he's not a soldier anymore, he's a criminal, an object of complete contempt, about to be reduced to a sobbing wreck on rotting prison straw. The whole transformation was total and, wow, instantaneous.
And yet, years later, this is what he said. Bless you, prison. How? How could anyone possibly feel blessed by an experience like that? How could a place of just unimaginable suffering become something to be grateful for? That's the question we're really going to unpack here.
Okay, so to understand that really shocking quote, we have to start by seeing the prison the way Stockdale did. It wasn't just a place of punishment. For him, it became the ultimate testing ground for his character, a laboratory for the soul.
You know, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus used to call his lecture room a hospital, a place where you go to feel the pain of healing your soul. But Stockdale? He took that idea a huge step further. For him, the prison wasn't a hospital for healing. It was a laboratory. It was a place to put all those philosophical theories to the ultimate test against a brutal, raw reality.
And in that lab, he had this profound realization. The real battle wasn't America versus Vietnam. No, it was internal. He realized the line that separates good and evil runs right through every single human heart, and that included his own. Suddenly, the only war that mattered anymore was the war for his own integrity.
So how'd he fight that internal war? Well, his primary weapon was this core Stoic principle, a really simple but incredibly powerful mental framework known as the dichotomy of control.
So, the Stoics divide everything in life into two big categories. On one side, you have everything you can't control, your reputation, your body, what other people do. Worrying about any of this stuff, they said, only leads to suffering. And then on the other side, there's the only thing you actually can control, your own mind, your judgments, your willpower, your emotions. The Stoic secret to freedom is really that simple. Focus all your energy exclusively on what's up to you.
Stockdale had this amazing mental picture for it. He pictured his mind as a roll-top desk. The really important things, his willpower, his moral purpose, he kept those right on top. But everything else, his reputation, his military rank, all of that, he mentally locked it all away in a bottom drawer he labeled matters of indifference. And by treating them as indifferent, they just lost all their power over him.
So this wasn't just some neat theory. It was a practical, hands-on tool for survival. Let's take a look at how Stockdale actually used the dichotomy of control when he was facing his interrogators.
He figured out pretty quickly that his interrogator's main weapon wasn't really pain, it was shame. So he took total ownership of his own emotions. He started treating fear and guilt not as things that happened to him, but as choices that he made. As he was marched off to interrogations, he would whisper this little chant to himself: control fear, control guilt. He even found this small way to maintain physical control. When he was forced to look at his questioner, he would focus his gaze super intently on the man's left earlobe. His captor probably just thought he was a little cockeyed, but for Stockdale, it was the secret act of mental sovereignty.
And this quote from Epictetus just perfectly captures the whole essence of that struggle. His captors, yeah, they could chain his body, but they couldn't touch his mind unless he allowed them to. He understood that both his ultimate destruction and his deliverance were entirely within his own control.
Now, this led Stockdale to a really critical reevaluation of what it even means to be harmed. For a Stoic, pain is not the worst thing that can happen to you, not even close.
This right here is the only harm that truly matters in Stoicism. True harm isn't something someone else does to you. It's a self-inflicted wound. It's the act of betraying your own principles, of destroying that person of integrity within yourself. It's an inside job.
And this brings us to what's famously known as the Stockdale paradox. Here was a man who suffered a broken back and two badly broken legs that were never even properly set, and yet he could later dismiss all of those horrific injuries as just peanuts. Why? Because they were external. They were painful, absolutely, but they were nothing compared to the moral harm of compromising his own character.
So, all of this, the laboratory of the soul, the dichotomy of control, this redefinition of harm, it all builds to one final, powerful conclusion about the invincible nature of the human will.
Epictetus compared life to a drama, to a play. We don't get to choose our role, whether we're cast as a ruler or a cripple or a prisoner of war. That's up to the director of the play. Our one and only job is to play the part we are given and to play it well. Stockdale didn't choose to be a prisoner, but he chose to be the best, most resilient prisoner he could possibly be.
These lines from the poem Invictus basically became Stockdale's anthem. These are words he recited to himself in the darkness of his cell, and they just perfectly encapsulate the entire philosophy. No matter the external circumstances, no matter the punishment, we alone have the ultimate authority over our own soul. We are the masters of our fate. We are the captains of our soul.
And that brings us right back to that roll-top desk in our own minds. Because this ancient philosophy, it isn't just for prisoners of war. It's a toolkit for modern life. So the final question is for you. What external things, maybe a professional setback or the opinions of other people, what are you allowing to control your inner peace? What would happen if, right now, you just decided to lock them away in that bottom drawer?